Hi everybody and good morning. This is going to be day 2 where we are trying to go through the stash of products that I have gotten over the last month. So I have purchased a majority of these items and they were in our boxes. I just have been filming so much in reference to all the spoilers and all of that, plus my regular life. And I just haven't had the time to go through it, and I had to make it this weekend where I was going to try to do a couple of these type of videos so I can actually try some of the products, because I am so excited about these products. You can hear it in my voice when I share my spoiler videos and when we get the opportunity to go through and learn a little bit more about the brands and the products. But we had a lot of fantastic boxes last month. We don't edit here. And what ended up happening was we also got the opportunity, Allure had their Reader's Choice. So yesterday we tried a brand new product and it was beautiful all day long from Jane Ireland. I've never tried those either, but one of my favorite boxes every year, besides all the ones that I get and enjoy throughout the year, is those limited editions from Allure, where we get the opportunity to try the Reader's Choices. It means people like you and me submitted and wrote in that these are the products that we're enjoying the most. So today, we're going to do a full face of products that we got a lot in our boxes, but some of them are going to be products that are brand new to me, and some might be ones that as I was pulling these, I said, oh, I haven't used that in a bit. I want to try it again. So this one here is the one that I'm really excited about today. It's this company called Rose Inc. And so many of you shared with me that this is one of your go-tos. And when I saw this, and had the opportunity to unpack it, you can see inside here that there are these little like spheres. So they say on the back of here to put it on the back of your hand and then to mix it around and then apply it to your face. So I'm going to be doing that. And then I pulled out some of my serum type of concealers that are from Toy Factory. So we're going to play with those. And then what I have on my lips is one that we just got last month in our Ipsy Glam bags. This is such a treat. It is from Wonder Beauty. It is their lip treatment. It leaves this beautiful glycerine type of, almost like a baby pink, but you don't feel it on your lips. They feel hydrated and nice. And the applicator is really, really good too. So that is what I have on my lips. And then this morning, based on the Allure Beauty box, I wanted to try some of the products that were from there. So I did pull out this. This I've used in the past. This is a glass bottle. It is fantastic. It is the Kale Green Tea Spinach Vitamins Superfood Cleanser from Youth to the People. This foams up, which I love first thing in the morning. So this was a real treat. The scent on it is nice. It's not overpowering. It's nothing that you could say, oh, it smells like vanilla or grapes. It really is just a clean smell. So that is what I used today. And then last night I pulled out from my stash from Elemis the Pro Collagen Neck and Décolleté, and I used it on my neck. And last night, again, I've been telling you my skin has been really, really dry. And I didn't know if it was the cleanser I was using or a moisturizer that I just been trying for the last month. So I ended up really going to me, the product that changes the game, especially in reference to overnight. I have a couple of overnight masks that I really, really enjoy, but this one has been, and it's very expensive. So this I got in this runs $100, I think, on its own. But we can get it in sample sizes at Ipsy. So if you haven't tried it yet, I would highly recommend it. It's the Tatcha Indigo Overnight Repair. I got this through the Beauty Boost, which is at $15 prepaid. And I ended up picking up a backup of one that I think I have up there somewhere. I don't know how much the camera picks up all my stuff. So this, I'm really excited about this. I'm getting to almost the bitter end because I have been enjoying this so much, but this is a game changer. I woke up this morning and it was like I had a whole new complexion. There was no dryness, there was nothing. I almost didn't want to wash my face. That is how amazing this was. So excited about that. And then what I ended up doing, because I got it, this is one that I'm enjoying, but I really got to move on, that as soon as my other products start arriving, the boxes start to arrive, I want to kind of try to switch it up. So I've been trying to use this now before I'm putting my makeup on, but if I'm just doing my regular routine, I've been using the Origins one, which I've shared with you last month. All right, so let's get started here. I also put on this morning, because I woke up, the last couple of nights I haven't been sleeping, but last night I ended up having a really good sleep. And what ended up happening was I was able to get up really early and I slept through the whole night, which for me is very regular, not so regular as I would like it to be. I used to be such a good sleeper, but I think my mind doesn't want to turn off, which is who I am. And a lot of times I have a pad beside my bed that I'll just write down things that, you know, when you finally calm down at the end of the night and you know, either you're reading a book or you're trying to catch up on some TV, and there's so much amazing stuff that I'm watching right now. And it's like through the Netflix, and I don't even know which one is Peacock, Netflix, Max, Hulu. I've just been catching up on a lot of that as well. And I'm enjoying it so much, but I'm getting tired because I'm trying to push through, because you end up almost binge watching, which is absolutely crazy. So, all right, so let's get through this, because like I said, my mind is going in a million places of what I got to do today, but I definitely want to get through some of this product. So thanks for tuning in and spending time with me and enjoying these type of videos, because I enjoy talking to you guys as well. And that's what the comments is about. So if you've had the chance to try any of the products we're going to go through, or you're having products that you just received that you're absolutely loving, that you want to make sure that me and everyone else that is part of our Truewants community in the comments should try, make sure to share that as well, because that's what this channel is all about. It's about sharing information, not only about the products, the brands, the deals, and of course those spoilers that I enjoy and I'm so happy you're enjoying as well, but to also share with each other, because I always say a deal isn't a deal unless you have the opportunity to enjoy the product and you got a good deal on the product that should be of the best quality, as well as the performance that you're going to get out of it. So this I shared with you. I'm down to like the last 2 or 3 of these. So now I'm at that stage where, you know, when you get and you have like a lot of them and you're like, oh, I'll try it today, I'll wear it again tomorrow. And then you get down to those last 2 in the box. What ends up happening is now it's going to go into, well, I have this occasion that I want to make sure I wear these for, because I haven't seen these replenished in the shop yet. So if you guys see it, please make sure to share it in the comments down below, because when Do With the Gods comes out with products, I immediately grab them. But it's so hard to replenish them sometimes because they really run out of their inventory. So this is these fantastic eye patches. And I've used these, like I said before. These I have the original ones that have that beige fabric to it that I felt were a little bit more taut than these. So these are actually, to me, an upgrade of those. But these have caffeine in them. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed that when I take these off, that I will see a difference in reference to the amount of the fluid in the bags that were under my eyes this morning. So here we go. So as I say all the time, the best thing to do is to try to keep your skin as taut as possible and then take it off. I know a lot of people also choose to wear it the other way, where the thicker side is on this side and then the narrow side's out there. I like to wear it this way so that I get as much as I can in reference to the crow's feet area here, and then it goes in a little narrower up here. So this is the way that I do it, but everyone can choose how they want to put their products on and use them. There's no rules in makeup and skincare, just usually in the order. So you see how that didn't pull my skin at all. The other side is that sticky material, and I could have left these on even longer. I just wanted to put them on enough time. I have a machine where I do my back, my exercises first thing in the morning, so that I can sit here hopefully without having to get up and stretch. So we'll have to try and see there. So those are them. So yeah, it definitely helped. But you can see here, if you go down here, you can see how the bags are. If I go a little back like this, some thoughts went into my head that I don't think I want to share first thing in the morning, but it's always good to be the one where you can tilt your head back like this. It makes everything fall into place. But the reality is this section here. So I just wanted to share that with you. There's no extra serum-y or anything to put in. Everything really just penetrates into the skin. All right, so let's put this on here so that we don't get too hot in this room. And let's get started. So as I mentioned, I'm not going to be putting any primers or anything on. I did put that moisturizer way earlier this morning, but way earlier, at least a couple of hours ago. And then here we have the rose ink. So I'm going to take this. There's really nothing to shake. There's no ball in here. And I'm going to put, as they mentioned, on the back of my hand here, a couple of spritz. We can see what it looks like here. So it is a serum-y material. And you can see here, you can see the spheres in there. I also pulled out a old-fashioned type of foundation brush. A lot of people use these also to put their masks on their face, but I wanted to use that to mix the product around. I do my best to use brushes as opposed to my fingers. I just feel it just does everything a little bit better, and you know, whatever bacteria, no matter how much you wash your hands, and the oils from your fingertips, I think could sometimes change the product as well. So we've mixed a little bit here. I don't think that's going to be enough for my whole face, but we'll take what's on here and then we'll do the other side as well. So I'm just going to pick it up on here and I'm just going to paint it on. Now, we didn't have the choice of shade in reference to this product in the limited edition kit. Yeah, this is enough just literally for one side. But I think it gives a nice evening out of the skin. Okay, we're going to do the same thing now on the other side. So we got the before and the after. So to me, that definitely took away some of the redness, some of the discoloration. But I don't know how universal this is for them to put a product like this in and just this one shade. But if this has like those skincare properties and all that in here, then it might be a great idea that this is like almost what you put on as your skincare, and then you can just put your colors, foundations and things on top. So we're going to do it that way. So again, we have it all now mixed out on the hand, and we're going to do it on this side here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video here and let it sink in a little bit more before we go on to the next steps. All right, I'll see you in just a sec. Okay, it's hard for me to film and give first impressions and all that. I'll be looking back at this when I'm going through this with you, but just looking a little bit up close for me personally, I have certain things that when I'm wearing foundation, I like to get a full canvas, like a flat surface. I'm seeing for me, I don't want to keep building and building this up. It gives an evenness to the skin. I'm not going to say it doesn't do that, but for me personally, like I just see it like gravitating into my pores a little bit, things like that. So this is something definitely I'm going to want to use a type of powdered foundation over it. It'll be a nice canvas. I'm going to have to do a little bit more research on this that I can share with you guys. I'm hoping they have some amazing skincare in here and everything, that this is really just that first step to even out your skin tone, get that skincare in, but give you a little bit of coverage. And I think this does. So in that sense, I'm happy because when I look at my hand that I was using all of the product on, it is completely smooth. It is not sticky at all. And then this is the hand that I didn't do anything on or put any product on yet. So you can definitely just see from the hand how it smoothed everything out and it gave a nice even coverage and a really nice shade for me, for my skin tone. I think it looks really, really beautiful that way. So it might just be that I'm trying to put my head around it to give you guys my opinion on, or at least, some guidance some way, one or the other. But to me, this is, I'm still processing it. So if you've used this and you have better, information that you can share in the comments, I appreciate that so, so much. So that is where we're starting. So now let's get into the concealer. So I have two shades. I have one that is the light and I have one that's in the medium. And whenever I'm wearing serum-y type of foundations or tinted moisturizers, I seem to like these type of concealers that have a little bit less, they're not as thick, they're more serum-y. And this also, I know, has skincare benefits in it because Toy Factory is the color brand of Dew of the Gods. And you can see so much is going to come out on the one. You only have to dip in once. And as I shared with you yesterday, I start with where I want my most coverage, and then I will use where I want to bring out, starting with the dimension of the face. So this here area is where my makeup runs off or rubs off the most, and then my chin area as well. And that was all just with one in and pull out. So there we go. Now I didn't bring a makeup sponge out here, which I should have. Like I said, I'm normally standing up there. And if I wanted to do a little bit more coverage in certain areas, I brought the other color out. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do a powder that we got from GRWM. So that's that there. So what I'm gonna do in reference to this, what can I do? I didn't even bring out my concealer here. So what I will do is use my fingers, which I normally do not do. Okay, I'm gonna have to pause this again. I'm gonna grab my beauty blender that's over there so that I can just pounce everything in and just have a little bit of the moisture to put it exactly where I want it to go. All right, give me one more sec, sorry. Okay, all right, so I just wetted a blender, and these little guys are fantastic. I got these a long time ago on Amazon, and they're great if you want to make sure that your beauty blender has a place to dry and all of that. I like having that. So, all right, so what I did was the concealer, and I just took the beauty blender to punch it all in and try to make it all uniform. And as you saw, when we did the concealer, it looked like it was going to be the wrong color, but when you blend everything in, it melts in. There's just something really special about that Toy Factory concealer that initially when I used it, I was a little disappointed in it when I got it a long time ago, because I felt it wasn't giving me the coverage. And then I realized I should be using it not thinking that it's a full coverage concealer, that it's a serum concealer, and that's what makes the difference. So it all melds in. It's actually going to be giving it more hydration to that area, which we all need, because as you get older, this is what dries out first, and that's where you'll see the first signs of aging, at least I did for myself. So now we're going to go in quickly with just a powdered foundation. This one here it's supposed to be luminous. It's the one from GRWM. This is made in the USA. And I don't see anywhere on here, light, there we go. So it's light. So that is it here. So I'm just gonna take I don't have any of my brushes here. It is crazy what I did. So what I will do is what I did yesterday. I'll just take one of my triangles. These I get all the time off of Amazon as well. And I will just put a little bit on the back of the pan. And as you can see, this is what they're calling light. And we're just going to give me a little bit more color and a little bit more coverage. I'm so used to my powdered foundations having a sponge like on the other side. That's probably why I didn't pull out like a big powder brush. So this light has more of, to me, a light medium or a medium color to it. So keep that in mind if you're looking at the GRWM powder, the luminous face powder. And whatever I don't see here, I'll correct once I'm off camera, because like I said to you, the lighting and where I'm sitting is not my normal spot. So I'm doing my best to get it so you guys can see probably a little bit better than I can. me just take a closer look. Yeah, I'm a combo girl, so to me, powder is always my friend, and it just gives me that type of coverage where I don't see every pore. I don't see, like, even when I wear liquid foundation, I always choose to use a powder on top, be if it's a loose setting powder if I want my makeup to last all day. But these type of other powdered foundations, don't be afraid to use them if you want more coverage after using a liquid foundation. So I am happy now with how everything looks as my base. So there we go. So that's what we're starting from. So that was nice. So don't worry, it's not too luminous. It just is a healthy look. It just doesn't look too matte. It doesn't look too shiny. It's exactly how I would like it. So that worked. All right. So now when I went to do my, going through my stuff, and we saw that I got a new Alamar, and I was telling you in that video that, and I had to look high and low for this guy. This was my go-to. This is one of my second ones from this. Alamar Cosmetics, we got introduced to by BoxyCharm before they were part of Ipsy. And inside here, they had that beautiful banana powder that really will help to brighten under the eyes. And then there's two shades here that are for the bronzer. One is called, I can't even see it here, I'm sorry. But I think this was the one that was in, you might have had a choice of different shades in this. I think if this was anything, it would be the light to medium. I think they might have had one that was tan and deep, but you guys will have to remind me that. But in the meantime, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take an e.l.f. brush that I use always. This one has been in my stash forever. There's no numbers or anything on this. It's these little dome brushes, but I love them for getting in this area here. So all I'm gonna do is brighten this, and also any product that I ended up putting in this area down above on my eyelid, I'm just gonna make sure that it's all powdered down, because between the heat and my oils, I always, like I said, powder is my friend. And that brightens up the area just a little bit, but it makes to me the biggest difference. So these banana powders have been in my stash for over 20 years. So, all right. And now we're gonna take the middle guy and we're gonna use it as the bronzer, but I'm gonna start here and put it in like I would a contour. So when you say contour, the best way to do it is where the middle of your ear and go straight forward. So as we get older, we lose volume in our face. So we're trying to bring it back. So we're just gonna put this here as almost an outline. Now I do have contour powders. I just didn't wanna go into a whole routine here. I wanted to have an easier makeup day and just try to use what I don't have. And then always don't forget to go close to your hairline up here, because otherwise it's gonna be too much, it'll be too drastic. So you're trying to put the colors back into your face, but at the same time giving you more dimension. And the my hairline is like at a normal pace, but if you have a larger forehead, you'll just, you know, make this larger, where with me, I just do it a little bit. And as I say, you always know that you're doing on this side, the number 3, and on this side, the letter E, whatever makes you remember that you gotta also go down here as well. And if you go under your chin area, that should take away some things that maybe aren't as taut as they used to be. Then I'm gonna take, this is also a dual-ended brush. I think this might also be from e.l.f. Yeah, this is their liquid bronzer and contour duo, but this is what I have on my desk here, so I'm pulling it here. And then on the other side, I now have the rounder side, and I'm going to pop it in here. So you can use these brushes for whatever you want. They're saying, you know, it's for liquids. I use it for liquids, but also for powders as well. And whatever's left over on your brush, the bronzer and the blushes I always put up here, because if I run out of time, I'll just pop mascara on and I'll be out the door and I won't bother with doing all the eyeshadows and things like that. But to me, my base is more important to me than the eyeshadows. Okay, and then I'm gonna take just a tad with the darker one closer to over here. And that's that. So that is going to be my bronzer. And then as I share with you all the time, which of course I didn't bring here, I normally blend it all out with a small little kabuki brush. All right, so that's that. You can tell I'm so not ready. All right, the next one is gonna be the half cake. Now on this one, I ended up choosing one for myself as my choice item last month. And then I ended up picking up in the 350 section, the other one. So you could have either gotten number 1 or number 2. This is number 2, which the shades are a little bit pinkier. As you can see by the shadows in the middle here, these are more neutral and these have more of those pink tones. And of course the blush, you can see the difference. So I'm gonna be playing with both of these just so that I have the opportunity to try both. Like I said, I have not put my fingers into any of this. So just with a blush brush, I'm going to take the lighter shade here and we'll see what that looks like over here. Also really, really pretty. I have been impressed with this half cake. If my memory serves me correctly, based on the spoilers that we did, I think this is two sisters that developed this line. Their brushes are also really, really nice as well, but I've had the opportunity to try a lot of their line because of Ipsy, and it is one that I am enjoying. So that's what this looks like here. I'm just gonna take one little pop of the pink on the other side, and we will see if we can put it on maybe a little further back. Give it that ombre effect, just so that we have the opportunity to check it out and see what it's about, what the color is. So yeah, that is really, really pretty. That is that true, beautiful pinky pink. Really, really pretty too. And again, whatever's left over, drop it on the eyes. Really, really pretty. Really, really like that. All right, so that's good. All right. Now I wanted to also pull out to do just a tad of the Rare Beauty so I get the opportunity to try it. And as I share with you all the time, these type of eyeshadows they're cream eyeshadows. You could put them on and then use it as a base. Again, I'm gonna pull another mirror that's a little bit closer to me because I'm pushing my back out. So give me 1 sec. This would also be nice just as an inner corner highlighter if you want to put just a little bit under your brow. This is nice as well. So, and now I'm just going to take my ring finger, which is your weakest finger, and just spread it all around. It's not leaving a tackiness or anything to my eyelids, which is nice. So it's just going to smooth everything out and hopefully act like a primer. And I share with you all the time, that's what I end up doing with a lot of these shadows. I'll put them on during the day so it actually covers up, and if you have any like discoloration or anything, that's a nice thing to do as well. But these are great because then later in the day, if I want to go out and I want to ump up my eyeshadows, then I already have all of this on. And these usually, these type of products, these cream eyeshadows, they don't crease, they don't smudge, they don't do anything, but this is not tacky at all. It's just making everything really even. So now we're going to go in and start with the shadows. So again, just a flat shader brush is what I'm going to pull. These are also, a lot of these brushes are been in my stash forever, but this one is from SL Miss Glam. When you get her brushes, they always have these two little rhinestones on it, so you'll know that's what you're grabbing. So on this one here, I'm going to take the lightest shade that is in the number 1 palette, and I'm going to tap it into the actual top here because, like I said, normally I'm standing up and I'm able to tap it over my sink and then just wash my sink down as opposed to having to clean the whole area here. So let's see what we have going on. All right. Yeah, you can see right away, just with one pass, I'm gonna show you this eye. So you can see where I have my brush, this eye, the difference with just that little bit of powder brightens up that whole area. It also, for me, any extra, if there's anything that's still tacky or, you know, that's what I always like to do is just brighten up this whole area and then build upon it. No different than you do with your foundation. All right, perfect. Now I'm gonna just take a big fluffy brush. This is one of my Mally brushes that I try to compare everything to this brush. And I will take this. And then as I shared with you in my videos, my eyes are very small. And because they're small, my normal crease is here where your eye folds in, that's your crease. I choose to go a lot higher to give the illusion that I have more space to play with for my makeup. So I end up using a shade that is usually 2 shades probably darker than my skin tone. And the further back you put your hand on here, the lighter you'll be able to get the bristles to not be as dense, like, because when you go closer up, you're causing it to be a little bit more, I'll show you here. It's hard to explain. So when I go too close here, you see how much more the color comes out? It's because my bristles I'm pushing closer. If you want a lighter, you simply go back on the brush and then you'll get a lighter. And when you get older, I'm hoping the camera's picking this up, my skin will move a little bit back and forth. So you want to do as light as you can, because I'm telling you, when you watch some of the people where you have the opportunity now with YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, you're seeing people like in their 20s, which are being introduced to, you know, not even in their 20s, some of them are like in their teens, to makeup for the first time. And they're so harsh on how they use, you know, the brushes and things like that. You don't realize that as you get older, there's things that you have to adjust your techniques to, simply because your skin changes, it gets more, the elasticity starts to disappear, your collagen disappears, certain things like that. So that's just the difference from one eye to the other. So you can see how much more definition and how much more it makes my eye open up. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this eye, and then off camera, I'll just finish the second eye. So that's what this looks like here. In the same pan, I'm now gonna just use the same brush, go down to the next shade that has a little bit of a pink tone in it. And then I'm just gonna put that in a little lower down here. And that's giving that effect that it's not this one harsh line. You're blending everything in at the same time and giving more of like an ombre effect, which dimension everywhere on your face or on your eyes is what it's all about. So that is that there. So again, I'm leaving that whole lid, the actual lid space open, which is where I'm gonna put my satin shimmers. Okay, and then I just take a pencil brush, which are these round little guys, and then I'm gonna stamp in to give that dimension on the outer, and then make this as my liner as well. So I placed first just by stamping. And a lot of times people say, you know, you can do, and you're always thinking up. So I don't go out because I want my eyes already go down a little. So I want to do as much as I can to make my eyes go up. So that is here. And then I'm putting a little bit as almost like a half liner there. And then I take a fluffier brush and then I just blend. So if you do it this way, you can then build, and whatever dissipates and you want it to be a little bit darker, you just go back in, dot it in. And then with that same pencil brush, I'll then line a little bit here under my eye. Then the same colors that I used on top. So now I'm going to that second darkest shade, putting it right in the middle. And the shade that I used on the top, I'm then gonna put it right in the corner here. So giving it that same illusion effect. All right, and then finally, we're going to get into the shimmer shades. So we have two in this palette. We have that one that has a little bit of a pinky, and then the one that is the champagne. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take on a flat shader brush, the pinky tone, and put it dead center. And to me, this isn't giving enough of the punch that I want. So as I shared with you, the trick to do with that is load your brush up with the product, then take a setting spray. I just have a little guy here that I keep for this in particular. And then I just spray the brush with the actual product. And when I'm gonna put this on now, you're gonna see the difference of the dimension of the shadow. It helps it, gives it a little bit more oomph. See the difference? I think that's a big difference. All right. And then I'm just going to take the champagne shade on a smaller brush, smaller pencil brush, and then go in that little corner there. So it's blending itself from this lighter shade, still satin shimmer, and then into that rose gold, into that brown. And then I go back with that first blending brush and then tie it all together so that there's no harsh line from where these three are. Just by putting this little guy on top again, everything now is cohesive. All right, so now I'm gonna do the other eye. Just give me a sec and I'll be right back. And we're gonna try a liquid liner on camera. Give me 1 sec. Okay. So now both eyes are done. That's the final look where you see the dark, the satin shimmer, the lighter. Everything here should be dimensions. I'll definitely be looking at this closer when I'm rewatching it back with you guys, because as I mentioned, I don't edit here. And then I just reapplied my lippy, and I took, because I don't have another setting spray here, I used the guy that I had on my area here that I used for my shadows all over my face. Also, we got this in the boxes. This is from Ditto, and this is called Voila, and that I keep here. All right, now we're gonna try to do liquid liner. So I have a mirror here that is normal on one side and then magnified on the other. So I'm gonna see if I can do this on camera for you guys, because liquid liners, it's always good if you want and you're not sure what you want, or you wanna have exactly where you wanna play and see where things go. These type of a liner that you could do first with your shadows, use these type of brushes. This one has an angle, so you can kind of get it where you want. Everyone's eye is shaped differently and how you want your look to look. So if you want it to be like more cat eye, you'll pull it out more. If you want to lift your eyes, you try to lift it up more. Now my eyes go down this here, so I don't want to follow my line, and I definitely don't want to bring it up from the bottom. So what I end up doing is I look where the center of my eye is and I go straight out. And then you'll see there'll be a difference between where there'll be a space and my liquid. And what I can do is I can choose to fill it in with a darker shadow, or I can fill it in with the liquid if I want to make it look a lot thicker. But what happens is when I put my mascara on, you don't really see that little area that I don't put any liquid liner on. It will just end up making my eye look a little bit more lifted. Hope that makes sense. So this has one of those balls that you should shake. And also, whenever you're storing your liquid liners, always store it where the liquid is coming down into it so that it doesn't dry out. All right. So this is first time I'm using all of these products, so bear with me. So this one is the eyeliner. It is liquid. It is from House Labs, and it's in black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, let's see if I can bring this closer, and I'm going to flip this to the 10 times magnification, or whatever the magnification is. It's crazy. If you can't be faint of heart when you look at yourself with these, you'll see every pore. So use it just like that. So, and I do have some fallout from the lashes, which I didn't see. So I just have a brush here that's a clean brush, which I'll show you in another video that I have. that I have this brush that's just really, the bristles are really, really fine, and I just use it to sweep everything off. Now, I didn't see that with my naked eye, but in the magnifier I did. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to where the center of my iris is, your pupil, and then I'm gonna kind of put it like this, light stroke. And then if your lids are a little bit more, you want to do taut, you could do that. But remember, whatever you're pulling out is going to bounce back. So you kind of just want to make it taut and not pull too much. I'm going to try to make it so that you guys can see what I'm doing, and then I'll fix it after. Okay, so I try to make it so you guys can see. So I went in the center and I pulled completely out. So you can see that if you look close, you can still see the shadow that's underneath there. So from the center and up. But I stop it not at the end of my brow, which a lot of people, when you see people showing tutorials that are a lot younger, they'll bring it all the way out to their outer, where this ends. I don't want that because that's where it's bringing it down. So for me, I like it to be like that. So I stop it before even where a lot of my blending is here. And hopefully you can see that now this eye looks a little bit lifted. All right, so now I'm gonna do the other eye. I'll be right back. Okay, other eye is done. The only thing different that I did that I didn't do on camera is once you get that, it's a little bit thicker where this is, you then take the finest part of the tip. So you kind of trying to keep it this way, and then you go in just a little bit more. Not all the way in, because then again, you're closing your eyes. So we're trying to keep everything open and up. So I then just took this and went into this area here to kind of marry it all together. So it's going from narrow to a little bit thicker. And same thing I did on this side here. And that's it. So that's what I do to make my eyes look a little bit bigger. And then we're now gonna try the mascara from the Lash Extension from e.l.f. A lot of you shared with me that just based on the color of the cap, you think this is supposed to be a dupe for the Thrive mascara. And then that means that this is probably a, my mind is going blank, a tubing mascara. So when you're using tubing mascaras, it's a little bit different, the application. You have to focus on one eye at a time because it dries quickly and you don't have much playing time. So you gotta try to get as much as you want on that first coat. That should give you all that length that you want. Let it dry almost till it's completely dry, and then go in with the second coat, and that should give you a little bit more of that volume, which means thickness. So we always wanna work on length first. So that's where you should be spending a lot of your time. This one here is those spiky little bristles. So that will grab every little lash. So let's do it like this. Do it where we have it. I have also a 10 times in this little guy too. This I picked up at Costco. I shared with you when I did. It's really, really good. All right, so and a lot of times when you're using the larger magnifications, is so you can just see it a little bit more up close. But I always try to finish off with the regular so I can see what, you know, my normal eye is gonna look like. All right, so this we're just gonna be putting on here. And again, when I'm testing out new mascaras for you guys on camera, I try to do it without my eyelash primer. But as you know, in my real life, I always try to use an eyelash primer. I feel it not only helps a little bit giving the mascara something to grip onto, but it also for me is conditioning the lashes. And another thing that you don't want to happen is you don't want to lose your lashes. So it helps keep them, you know, conditioned. Well, it's giving a lot of coverage. It doesn't feel, sometimes when you hear people say it's wet or it's dry, when mascaras are too wet, it will transfer for me personally on my upper, so we got to just be really careful. But this pretty much feels like it's a mixture, so I don't think it's too dry, I don't think it's too wet. I think that's as much as I'm going to be able to get on the first coat. And I always try to work at the base of my lashes and pull up, but you're pulling up very lightly. You're letting the actual brush pull through the mascara. Okay, and that's the first coat. And then I'm just gonna dip in again. Now with a regular mascara, I would have gone to the other eye, but because this is, I think, tubing, if you guys are correct with telling me this is like the Thrive, I'm now gonna go in and just try to thicken it up a little bit, but I know I'm not gonna get any more length. I'm just gonna get a little bit more volume. All right, and that's the final look that I'm gonna get. So now I'm gonna pause you again. I'm gonna do the other eye, and then we're gonna finish off with the lippy. Okay, so like I mentioned, my favorite tubing mascara is Tarte, it still is. This here, if you try to go in again, I'll show it to you on camera so you guys can see what I mean. So once this is dry, look what happens if I try to even put, do you see it's kind of like dismissing my wand. It's not letting it go anywhere. Also, my lashes, I find, are easier to work with on my right eye than the lashes on my left eye. Always give me a little bit more, so trouble, they just need a little bit more attention. So you just gotta be careful. But as you can see here, it's not really placing anything more, and it's not letting me change anything that's already dried. So that's what you gotta be careful with tubing mascaras. What's great about tubing mascaras is once they're there, they're there. They won't flake, you won't get raccoon eyes or any of that. The other thing that I wanted to share in this video is you saw how I showed you the space that was happening between my liner and that it was that space. Now that the mascara is on, you can't see that at all. And that's what I wanted to share with you. So be careful with your eyeliners because a lot of us end up, you know, trying to match and then it ends up becoming the thicker and thicker and thicker liner. You just have to get yourself comfortable with it. And then if there's space that you can always fix after, but if you overdo at the beginning, that's when you'll see that one liner got so thick, then you had to match it on the other eye. And then that is what the mascara looks like on its own. Try to do it every which way so you guys can see. And now I'm just gonna do the bottom lashes and then we're gonna do our lippy. So the bottom lashes takes like seconds. So this here, all you're gonna do is you can either just go down like this, and then I always try to finish it off with just a little bit from the tip. So whichever ones I didn't get, it'll pick it up here. And that's one versus the other. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Sometimes if I do the other side, you guys don't see it. I apologize, it just blocks the camera. I'm definitely not a camera person. I'm just somebody that is a beauty enthusiast. And you guys are finding it helpful learning from somebody that just enjoys makeup as opposed to a makeup artist. Just makes you feel a little bit more comfortable and I appreciate that. And that's why I try my best to, when I can sit down and do these videos, I sit down and I'm patient and I don't edit so you can see everything exactly as I'm putting it on, like as if we were two girls sitting in the bathroom together getting ready. So that's what this looks like here. And then the final products that I'm going to put on is just quickly these Brow Gals, any pencil. All I do is I'm not sculpting or doing anything. My brows, I just simply cover a little bit of the light strokes and comb it all the way through just to give it a little bit more. So if there's any makeup in there, you can also, you know, take a tissue and take that off first. And this covers up the couple of grays or whatever trying to peep through. And then you take the other side that has the spoolie and just groom your brows all the way down. That's it. That's what I do with my brows. All right, and now I'm going to take the Lippy that has been moisturizing my lips. Look how healthy my lips look from that. And then I'm going to use the other shade that we didn't use in yesterday's video from Morphe, the Makeup Top. These, as I mentioned, I picked up in the Ipsy 350 section. These retail for $6 on the website, which is still a steal. And I'm really enjoying the new Morphe a lot. And I'm so happy that Ipsy has a relationship with them, because every launch, I'm like, it takes everything in me not to purchase, but as you can see, I have way more wants than needs. So what I end up doing is just waiting. And then if I'm lucky and it shows up at Ipsy, that's when I get it at a discount and I can justify it ending up in my stash. Because I am at the point now where I don't even have the time to sit down like this and enjoy and play. And there's been so many amazing advancements in the technology and the ingredients in makeup from when I started that you want to try everything. All right, and then this one is from Dibs. And I got, this brand has been on my wants list for a while. I follow them on Instagram. I think they're really, really a fun brand. But I ended up picking up my first one through my choices in my FabFitFun box. And now I know this is definitely one that I enjoy. So when I saw this as an option through Ipsy, I grabbed it as well. So as I shared with you yesterday, what I try to do with my liner is I try to go a little bit above my lip line here just to give my upper lip a little bit more, but not overly exaggerated. And then I bring it right back to where my natural lip is, and then I do the same on the bottom. It's a beautiful, very comfortable lip, but it's a little bit darker than I thought it was going to be. And I do have other products, but I definitely want to show this to you here, because I definitely like the feel of it. Might be a little bit too dark for me. I do have another one here that I wanted to try as well. And that was, I'm going to try two others. We have Makeup by Mario, and I have that in 2 shades here, but I think we went more nudie, so I think I'm going to do that. So, you know what, I'm going to leave it at that, and I'll use these other ones another day. All right, just looked at the clock, and I have been sitting here for a while. All right. So that is the final look that we are going to go with. Any touch-ups, like I said, that I'm going to do off camera. Once again, thank you to everybody that has been watching these videos, these Get Ready with me. As I share with you, they take a lot more time because I got to try to sit in an area that I'm not comfortable, besides filming that I'm not comfortable doing, but I'm used to stand there. My makeup takes maybe 15, 20 minutes max, you know, on a regular day. I'm just doing my best to try to explain what I'm doing so that you guys are saying that these little tips and tricks that I don't realize are tips and tricks, you're saying it has changed your game on how you're applying your makeup. And then some of you are just reintroducing yourselves to makeup now again. And because so many things have changed, you wanted to know if you want to get into creams, if you want to get into powders, all of that. And like you, I'm experimenting all the time too. And it's only because of the boxes that I am doing that. Because if I was going into the retail world, I wouldn't go out and spend $40 to $50 on a foundation. There's a lot of good foundations at the drugstore that I can get for $10, $20. So, but if I can get a Makeup by Mario for $18, that's normally $44, I'm gonna do it. And that's why the Ipsy world and the FabFitFun world and the Allure world is my world now. Because like I said, I have an itch that I like to scratch, and that is playing with makeup. I'm a girly girl. I like fashion. I like fashion jewelry. I love all of that. And if we can take some time away and just spend it on ourselves, even if it's just 15 minutes or 10 minutes, I'm telling you, the big difference in the morning is now my skincare routine, and the same thing at night after I take all my makeup off and doing a skincare routine and spending that extra 15 minutes, my skin has changed, and it's only changed because of the makeup boxes, because I'm constantly introducing myself to new ingredients, new formulations. And if you can, for $15 or $30 a month to treat yourself for something for yourself, I think the subscription boxes for me has been a game changer. And it also has put me where I sit down and I say, I'm gonna wait. And because before, everything new that comes out becomes exciting. Like there's so many products that are on my wants list. And then when I see that it's all of a sudden available through Ipsy, I then am able to take it off that wants list, play with it. And if I don't fall in love with it, I don't feel so bad, because at the end of the day, I probably only spent between $5 and $12 on it. And that's where I'm comfortable. All right. So hopefully you guys learned a couple of tricks and tips here, and that you're enjoying my no edits. So I appreciate that so much as well. And that's it. So if you've watched this all the way to the end, simply write day 2, because I did do one yesterday and I still have a full stash of products that I still have to play with. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. If I can sit down again and share with you, I will. But of course, during the week and on the weekends, I want to try my best to also get outside of this filming world and spoilers and all of that, because I want to also have a better balance in reference to my lifestyle as well. And that's it. So everybody continue to stay safe and well, and I'll see you all soon again in the next one. Take care, everybody, and bye for now.